Maybe she is great.
She is not Miss
Universe.
I'm Gabby, that's Jordan.
Red flag, red flag.
I'm sure, I know I'm the villain in that story.
I kind of like it.
You're separating me from our guest. Hi, I'm Gabby.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Fred.
Fred, what do you do?
What do I do? So I'm a 911 call taker.
Okay.
With the Tampa Police.
That's how you know our last guest.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
How long have you guys been friends?
Since she started.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
nice.
I knew her when she was in dispatch, and then she moved out to the street.
Awesome. Okay.
You like dispatch. You don't want to go anywhere, correct?
No, yeah, I've been in there for over 16 years.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay, so you're
yeah,
like,
I'm
Hold on.
settled.
Pause. How old are you?
35.
Okay.
I started when I was 19.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can, do you technically have to go to college to be a 911 dispatcher?
To be a dispatcher, all you need is a GED.
Okay.
And to be 18.
Okay, because I was going to
So-
say, they just get to start so much earlier than, other careers.
And what a lot of people do is they'll come in and they'll work in 911 while they're going to college and finishing up their degree. Because we have
Well, that's what Bree did.
That's what Bree did.
Yeah.
That's what my wife did. There's a whole bunch of people. I would say every year we probably have between 2 and 5 people that go from dispatch out to the street through the academy.
You and your wife work together still?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, I mean, she works
In a different department?
No, I mean, she's out on the street.
Oh,
She's-
okay.
She's Bree.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's a street unit. I'm in radio. I actually don't even dispatch anymore. I'm in our recording office. So when the news calls and they want a copy of a 911 call, or the state attorney needs a copy of a call for court, I duplicate those and I send those
I
out.
talk to people like you every day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She works in law.
Yeah.
Okay.
People don't realize that about Jordan.
I'm like, hey, I need the CAD right now. And they're like, well, you gotta formulate, and I'm like, listen, no. Okay, wait. I've been waiting over a freaking week. We need to get into it.
Okay,
Okay.
well, so this is one of our conspiracy theories episodes. Even though this isn't a conspiracy theory, I feel like it still falls under the umbrella of
Okay.
government, interesting stuff. So I met Fred a year ago at our friend Bree's birthday party, where he and my fiance got really deep into a conversation about the cheese caves. And it got brought up again this year, and I was just like, wow, Jordan would eat this story alive. So, literally, he'll eat it alive.
What are the cheese caves?
So, the cheese caves are, and it's funny because every time I bring this up, everybody thinks I'm full of shit, and they always end up going and looking it up themselves. Like, oh my god, like this is real. So, the cheese caves are a huge. It's like 3.5 million square foot limestone facility underground right outside of Springfield, Missouri. That's utilized by the USDA, so that's the Department of Agriculture, and it is stockpiled with millions of pounds of cheese.
It sounds like my heaven. But why? How? What? Who? Where? When? What the? What? I'm so confused. Why is there so much cheese just underground?
So, milk.
Yeah.
Milk was a pretty volatile price back in the 60s, 70s. So, what happened is the government had to step in. Because with milk, you have anybody who watches Yellowstone, you know that calving happens in the spring. And so normally a lot of these farmers would have an abundance of milk in the spring. So when that happens, milk price goes down, dips really low. And then in the fall, the winter, not as much milk, so the prices would go up. So it really fluctuated the price of milk. And it got to the point where the government said, we're going to have to step in. So in the 70s, I think it was President Carter, started a program where the government would essentially buy all of this milk from these farmers if the price got too low. So essentially building a bottom. So milk wouldn't go below this amount. And that kind of stabilized the milk market. And then if it went too high, then the government would sell off what they had. But the thing is, milk only stays good so long.
Yeah.
So what do you do with it? Turn it into butter. You turn it into cheese. So
Because you can age cheese.
So that's what the government does, is they get cheese, and then they store all of this cheese.
Now,
So-
where it gets a little conspiracy theory, I want you to think back to the 90s, our childhood. Think about all the got milk ads. Think about all the, they had too much of
Right.
this cheese, so they're trying to force dairy down our throats. Start thinking about that food pyramid, with the dairy on the food pyramid.
Right.
My mind is going. I'm like running in circles in my head right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been there since the 70s.
Yeah. So you can actually go to the USDA has what's called the cold storage report.
Okay.
And there's a online archive hosted by Cornell University. You can go online. It's really interesting because the report goes all the way back to 1916. Now there's not cheese.
Wow.
The very first report in
There's
1916.
no 1916 cheese, because I want that cheese.
The very first report that's available on the website is a copy scan from 1916, and it's just how many fucking barrels of apples the government had. Yeah. So they were storing apples, and then over time, if you just go through the reports, you can see they started adding different things. And at this point, if you go and look, I think the last report was, I did my homework, February 24th of 2023,
Okay.
which is the report for January.
Okay.
Remember at the party I told you, January was the last one. So
You did. We're like 25 tequila shots deep, and we're talking about the cheesecake.
that's because we're at this party, we're all drunk, and I don't remember if it was you or if it was Kyle, but one of them was just like, tell everybody about the cheesecake. And I was like, okay,
Tell everyone
let
about
me
the
tell
cheese.
you about the cheesecake.
We were with Tamika, that's why Tamika had never heard the cheesecake story, and she needed to hear about the cheesecake.
Did she believe? Did she believe it?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
she
think she
did?
believed it. But then again, she's not like a
Yeah.
conspiracy, as our friend Beth says, who was on a previous episode.
Mhm.
She's a conspiracy realist, not a theorist.
Okay.
But I think Tamika's not as much of a conspiracy girl, but she bought it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to buy it, you can Google it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
on
it's
the
real.
internet.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
my question is, what are they doing with it? What's
So-
the purpose?
So again, the whole purpose originally was to stabilize the milk market.
Yes.
And also it was to help the dairy industry stay in business. So the government's buying up all this excess milk cheese. I think when they originally started the program, they committed $200 billion over like 4 years to
Wow.
purchase excess milk. Well, if you're a farmer and you produce milk and you find out that the government is subsidizing, you're going to produce as much milk as possible, because anything you don't sell to the public, the government's going to buy. So there was a huge mass increase of milk production, which led to a lot of cheese. And the government ended up with a whole bunch of cheese. And then the government said, what the fuck are we going to do with all this cheese?
Give it
So-
to me.
So they start, like the SNAP program,
Okay.
food stamps. Like, you get blocks of cheese on that.
What? I'm
yeah.
signing up. How do you qualify for that?
It's an income-based.
Do I qualify?
No, Jordan, you don't.
I want
No.
blocks of cheese.
Yeah, food stamps, WIC.
You know what's wild though, if you do think about it? They have all this cheese, yet when I go to the grocery store, if I want a pound of brie, I have to pay like $50.
Have you ever seen how much those wheels are?
Huge.
I want a
They're-
wheel,
Oh yeah.
but they're like hundreds of dollars.
So what you're telling us, if we got on one of these government-funded programs, we don't have to spend $50 on our cheese anymore.
Well, I don't know that you're getting your
getting a
fancy
wheel.
Charcuterie board
Yeah.
No,
cheeses.
we're getting like sharp cheddar.
Right,
Sharp
cheddar. So
Not even-
maybe some American.
Not
You
even
know those
Vermont
slices
cheddar.
when we were kids that were in the plastic and they're almost like plasticky. I feel like that's what you're getting, right?
Is that even real cheese? I don't think so.
So
It's gotta be. We have so much cheese.
That's true. Now I'm thinking about it.
So like American slices
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
actually it's powdered cheese that has then been reconstituted and then formed into a
that
slice.
can't be healthy.
Well, is cheese healthy? Like
Yeah, you're right. No.
So that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the fact that they built, and this is where we get into the conspiracy side of it, because that wasn't a conspiracy. That's true.
Right.
The conspiracy
Yeah.
here is our abundant need for dairy.
right.
And so they reformatted the pyramid after all of this, because I looked into this too after, because I was like, what was the timeline of the, this whole crisis in the cheese caves with our food pyramid? And you remember when we were young and all of a sudden like dairy's kind of like hyping up on the food pyramid, they changed our food pyramid
Yeah.
to reflect like things like that. Kyle said he saw something, and I don't know exactly, so no one quote me on this. He saw something about like Lucky Charms.
Yeah,
for
no,
ones with,
I
you
said that yesterday. It's Lucky Charms, and there's another cereal that they put really high on the food market, on the food pyramid recently. And I'm like, cereal is so bad for you.
Sugary.
It's just sugar and
And
But
they
it encourages
put
milk.
I would
lots
say the
of-
one industry that has more pull than the dairy industry on the food pyramid is the grain industry. So
Yeah.
that's a whole nother story.
Oh, cereal has lots of metals in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't eaten cereal since I was a child, so like I'm not worried about myself, but it's like one of those things where I just don't know why we're making that leap. But then I did think that maybe that connected to the dairy, but I didn't know about the grain situation.
So
Yeah.
these people that are like lactose intolerant or they're like vegan, I guess maybe they are onto something.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at worldwide statistics, America eats way more cheese than pretty much any other country.
Which is wild because I always think of cheese as like Italian, like
Do you?
Yeah, but think
Yeah.
about
I think
Italian
pasta is like
pizza, like classic Italian pizza.
they have less cheese on their pizza
Right.
for
It's just
sure.
it's just like, a few dollops of mozzarella on there.
But I
American
do-
cheese is or
And then
American
they're like,
pizza is just
"Do you want extra cheese on your pizza?" Yeah.
Let me tell you. The USDA did that.
The extra cheese?
In the 90s, the USDA and I can't remember the name of the agency, but it's basically like a dairy farmer association agency.
Okay.
They sent consultants to fast food restaurants to work with their marketing teams and their culinary teams to develop ways to put more cheese into shit. Stuffed crust pizza.
cheese.
USDA was involved.
Charcuterie boards.
EMB, the extra most best whatever it is that Little Caesars does, where it's like 50% more cheese.
Oh.
They
I didn't
literally
even know they did that.
they went to Pizza Hut and they figured out how much cheese you can put on a pizza before it won't cook evenly, so that they could maximize the amount of cheese that was going on these pizzas.
Because they gotta get rid of all the cheese.
The quesalupa at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Oh, we know.
That was invented to put more
I
cheese
wonder-
into food.
What about cheesy potato grillers? They went away. I wish they'd come back.
Maybe.
Those were good.
I heard the double down's back. And that's basically just 2 pieces of chicken with cheese in the middle. So
Now that I'm like spiraling right now in my head, we do put cheese on
Everything.
everything.
because you're told to. And it's subsidized. Think about all the commercials. Like, think about just watching like a Kraft commercial where they're making the grilled
Yeah.
cheese and it's just like all of this cheese. Every time you see cheese in a commercial, every time you see milk in a commercial, they're getting
Wow.
a kickback from the government.
You know what, though? I'm not mad because I love cheese. Like, I'd be more mad if they were trying to push something else down
But
my
that's
throat.
because
but, like,
you've been
cheese.
raised
We're-
since a baby. Like
Yeah, we're conditioned now.
they told our parents, back in the 80s and the 70s that you have to give your kids milk or else they're going to turn into gummy people and their bones are going to dissolve. Like,
Drink
you
a
have
glass
to
of milk
have,
a day.
right, you got to
Yeah.
drink milk to have strong bones.
I'll just never get over the got milk commercials. That was my whole childhood.
Right. And it was all just pushy
I
dairy.
forgot about those.
I didn't.
Oh my god.
They live rent free in my head, honestly.
Okay, wait. So knowing this for so long, do you still eat a lot of cheese, or
Oh, hell yeah.
You do? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Well, like cheese didn't like get bad because I found out that the government owns a lot of it.
It's still dead.
Well, I'm thinking I'm leaving here, and I'm like I'm done with dairy. after
Jordan
that.
takes everything to the extreme and
I
then
do.
stops doing it. She and I are not the same. I will continue on my cheese journey. I hope Kyle's making me cheesy eggs in the kitchen right now. I will say though, I think you were onto something too. Like even just seeing like how it's evolved. Like they had the got milk thing, and then we all kind of were like, we're done with that. We're not drinking glasses of milk anymore. And then now it's evolved. And think about how many people charcuterie is the thing.
Right.
Everything is a cheese board.
Butter boards too.
Yep.
I mean, butter boards. I was bored yesterday when you told me that yesterday.
Yeah.
But I didn't know we were doing butter boards now. It's
I
kind
had
of
not
good.
heard about that. I'm
it's
really
like
into goat cheese right now.
Brie. I'm a brie girl.
I had a, what did we try? We just got 2 new ones yesterday. We tried, it was a honey, which was okay.
Love a honey.
It wasn't, the flavor wasn't there. I was kind of surprised. It was a little muted. Then we got a fig goat cheese, and that was actually sweeter than the honey. That one was actually really good.
See, I'm into like a truffle goat cheese or a truffle brie. I will say, on the butter topic, I'm really into this butter that I get from the Amish, and it's flavored. And Jordan came over the other day, and I made her taste test it with spoons. So we were just eating butter, which is like a whole nother problem. But it was really good. There was an Asiago chive one, there was a truffle one, and then there was a Parmesan garlic.
Okay.
It was delicious. Which was your favorite?
I think the chives.
I like the truffle one.
I'm gonna have to do a butter tasting.
I think we literally fucked up. We should have just like had cheese out.
We shouldn't. I don't know why we
just
didn't.
been like doing the cheese, but Jordan would have had.
Can we go? Like I want to
Field trip.
Yeah, like can you tour these caves?
Well, so that's what I was gonna say
So
too.
it's actually like it's a commercial complex.
Okay.
So like I said, it's 3.5 million square feet. It's actually getting bigger. I think they said like
It's underground.
Well, because it's a limestone cave system. So they actually are down there and they're digging out the limestone so they can use it to make concrete and construction materials.
Oh.
So as they do that, they have more space.
For cheese.
But it's like 3.5 million or a little bit bigger at this point. I think 60% of it is refrigerated. So it stays like underground. I think it stays at like somewhere between like 40 and 60 degrees, but it's like a constant temperature. And then to bring that down to like 36 degrees is very easy because you don't have the varying elemental effects. Like you have a fridge, your house is hot, then it has to work more. Underground, you don't have those changes. It's always the constant temperature, so it's very energy efficient to refrigerate stuff underground.
It's good to know.
The government, the USDA, I think they technically own 300 million pounds of cheese. But they are also the custodian of several companies that also store cheese there. Now there's other facilities, like California has a facility. Pretty much almost every state has some kind of cold storage facility. But the main one is outside Springfield, Missouri. And
Like the biggest one?
yeah.
That's like the cheese cake.
It's called, I think it's called the Springfield Underground is the name of it. And when you it's off of the highway, and when you drive up, there's like a gate, and then there's a parking lot, and there's just it just kind of looks like a tunnel that goes into the ground. So the whole thing is underground. You can't see it. But
I just feel like that if I have a business plan, FBI agent in Jordan's computer.
His name, I have a name for him.
You have a name now?
Ricky.
Ricky, I'm going to need you to take this back to the U.S. government. I just have a really good business plan, but I would like 20%. I just feel like if we started talking about the cheese caves, we made it like a viral sensation, and then they opened up tours, and on your tour you could just eat cheese. Not only would they make more money, but it would solve their cheese problem. We'd all go eat their cheese.
Yeah.
I don't like my head. It's like I feel like they have a bigger purpose for this cheese.
See, I wanted Jordan to be surprised by your topipic, but also she's in that spiral mode now where now she just wants to go look up things.
Well, everybody just has questions. Why wouldn't you? You know, there's...
Also, why does nobody know about it?
I haven't even slapped her with the biggest fact. So, like I said, the USDA has 300 million now. Between them and all the other companies that are storing cheese, there is currently 1.4 billion pounds of cheese in cold storage right now.
In the U.S.?
In the U.S. Just the U.S.
Do we ever ship our cheese other places?
Like, do people from Italy, like, I got some U.S. cheese today?
I seriously doubt that.
I don't think that Europeans would do that, but all I could think about is, like, helping poorer nations. Like, why don't we send some cheese to Africa?
So, we actually just... I don't know what the kind of shelf life is once you take it out of that storage.
I was gonna say we send it to Nebraska.
We could, maybe.
There's some people in Nebraska that could use some cheese.
So during COVID, they actually put a dent in it because the government was making these like food packages to send out to people that had to stay in their house. It wasn't just cheese.
Yeah,
like I said, at this point, it used to just be apples that they kept track of. Now it's cheese, meats. Vegetables. Like, you can go on and you look at the cold storage report and it's everything. Like, the amount of turkey that the government has in cold storage is fucking ridiculous.
I have to stop you on a tangent. I have to do it, and it's going to make Jordan giggle. Yesterday, our friend Courtney, we were talking about words we really, really hate. Mm-hmm. Like, I hate moist, and like, it just, obviously, I feel like that everybody hates that one. Well, Courtney goes, I really hate the word meats, and you just said meats, and now I can't stop thinking about Courtney, and I feel like Courtney's ruined the word meats for me. She's like, meat is fine, but plural
and she's
meats
listening
is
right
not.
now.
Oh, yeah.
She listens. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I said the M word.
Well, it's only the plural.
Meats.
I was like, how hard is it for you to watch an Arby's commercial? You know, like...
We got the meats.
But now I literally... can't unhear it. Sorry. Take it back.
So in Florida, so obviously Florida has probably a cold storage facility.
They do. It's a smaller one compared to other states.
Do you know where it is?
No.
We're not allowed.
If I did, I'd go visit.
Okay, so we'll figure it out. We'll all go on a little field trip. So are we keeping cheese? Are we keeping other things? Do you know?
I mean, as far as I know, every storage facility should have some of everything. Just so, I mean, if there's some kind of shortage somewhere, then you should have a stockpile for the government to give out, things everywhere. But like I said, the main one is Missouri. There's a large one in California. Up north, there's one. I can't remember if it was like Rhode Island or something like that. It's like, that little cluster of all the fucking states. You can't really tell which is what. Yeah. So up there somewhere, there's a big one.
So here's my question, because I've been suckered into this. It's really Kyle and Jordan, but I guess we're doomsdayers now. And we're really worried about that. They're building a bunker. I'm just going to show up. I'm not helping build a bunker. But, don't roll your eyes. I talked to my dad last night, and he's in on the bunker, and I asked him for $500,000 to help build the bunker, and he said, fuck you, I'll go build my own bunker. Oh, wow. So I guess Dad's not coming to the bunker.
Why'd you ask him for $500,000?
I want to see how far I could go.
Yeah.
You're leaving to build this bunker. You're
not
building an underground bunker in Tampa, because that's not happening.
No. Okay. Out in the middle of
Florida. Because that thing will pop right out of the ground.
Or, like, the middle of the country, maybe?
I don't know, we haven't decided. There's some workshopping that needs to be done. Regardless, all I can think about now is, okay, if we have these storage facilities that are government run, but they're in the individual states. Let's say we go full-blown apocalypse, World War III.
Building a storage, like a doomsday shelter in Missouri might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, so we're close to the cheese. We could raid the cheese.
Yeah.
What if how, like, there's usually like the serum in movies where, like, if there's a zombie, like, you can hit them with this and it's like they're cured. What if that's the cheese?
What if everything's cured by cheese? No, all I'm thinking about, though, is it'd be nice to know where these facilities are in each state. in case of an emergency. Also, all of a sudden, if like the government goes up in flames and the government doesn't exist anymore. I've been watching too much Designated Survivor right now, so I'm like,
I love that
I'm
show. Have you seen that show?
I've watched like the first season.
Okay,
So
it gets good.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
this thing where Sarah starts watching a show, and then I'll walk by the TV, and I'm just like, oh, what's that?
kind of
And then I kind of walk by, and it's like, who's that? And then like 3 weeks later, I'm just like sitting like. Fucking
Yeah.
True Blood, man.
Oh,
Like,
I've never seen that.
She just started watching True. So
for the first time.
Yeah, because our neighbor was like, "Hey, you wanna read this book?" And so she read this book, and she's reading this book, and she's telling me, she's like, "This is the worst fucking book ever. Like, it's written so bad."
Let's start a show.
She's like, it's like Twilight, but just poorly written. And I was like, "Oh, that sounds great."
Wonderful.
And
Then she finished, and she's like, "I finished that book. I gave it back to her. She gave me the next one." I was like, "And you're reading it?" And
she
she's like,
gave me the next one.
I guess. Now she's like fucking like 8 books in.
Oh.
And she's
committed.
like, she asked me, she's like, "Hey, can you go find legally the digital copy of the next book so I can read it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can probably do that legally." And then all of a sudden she's watching True Blood, and she's like, "This is from the
book.
This is from the books." And I'm watching the show, and I'm like, "Oh my god! Like, these accents are fucking terrible. This acting is terrible." And now it's like 3 seasons in, and I'm just like, wait, so Sookie and Russell, like, how are and now Bill? Who's this werewolf? Where did he come from? So
Sarah doesn't half-ass anything. Okay?
like I said,
she read the first book and
right,
she's like,
right.
"I will read all it."
Right, she's like, "This is shit. I'm going in."
The legality of it all. Do you get letters to your home from like your internet company?
No, because I do everything legally.
Yeah. Must be banned from Spectrum. So.
But back in the day,
Yeah.
I did hear that people would get emails. But from what I've heard, the trick is to just have a really good, or just even a generic, simple VPN.
Yeah.
So
That doesn't. When you do it too much, it's.
Jordan's
I blame
banned
my
from
husband.
basically everywhere.
yeah,
It's not me. It's my husband.
Spectrum,
Who learned it from his
Venmo.
father.
She's banned from Venmo.
I am banned from Venmo, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Well, I'll never forget the first time my mom went on my Venmo, and she's like, "Why are you Venmoing Jordan's husband so much? Is something going on?" And I went, "No, that's Jordan, because Jordan's banned from Venmo."
that's everything I have.
Oh. I use that too.
There's a lot. I don't know
I have
how
no
many.
idea what's going on right now.
But sometimes it
Oh,
doesn't
there's like
work.
over 1,000. Oh, mine works everywhere in the world.
Yeah, but sometimes mine does not work.
Oh.
It's so weird.
I wish I knew what was happening.
We're just talking about things that are legal.
Things.
Legal things.
Um,
No, I just definitely think that if we're going to build the bunker, either if we're not building it in, like, Missouri towards the cheese caves, we need to make sure whatever state we're in, we figure out where their food facility
That's a good
is.
point. I feel like that would almost probably be where, like, one of those, like, doomsday factions set up their camp, you know?
Yeah.
Like, all of the food cold storage facilities are going to be some kind of, like, home base for a raiders
Especially
group.
if you hook up those refrigerators to solar, then even if, like, power grids go down, you still have got them cold.
Right.
That's going to be the kicker, because we're going to lose power.
yeah.
I love how we're speaking this as if, like, this might happen tomorrow.
I mean, it
I
could.
mean, the way the world is
Yeah.
going, like,
Truthfully, it
give
could
us
happen
a
today.
year or two. Who knows?
Wow. Okay, so there's cheese everywhere.
Yeah.
I need to go watch some YouTube videos. I don't even know what's happening right now. I don't even know the questions to ask.
So she's not prepared, but
I
I
was
kind of
not
was
prepared.
excited for that. I was kind of excited for you to have to just exist here in this conversation.
Because everybody has that, like, what moment?
Well, I thought you were joking for a while, the first time.
Why
we
did
brought
you
it
think
up.
he was joking?
Because
we
we're
were
sitting around the table.
Yeah, it was in my backyard per usual, like we do
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, like-
and we had a charcuterie board, and he's like, "Have you heard about the cheese caves?" And I was like,
And, like,
He's like, "You're
everybody...
drunk."
First off,
True.
Sarah and Ari, they don't even care. And then everybody, all the girls around the table, they're like, cheesecakes. And Kyle's like, go on.
I feel like we need to get him in
he's like,
here.
what are the cheesecakes? I said,
Kyle!
oh, you don't know about the cheesecakes?
I'll go get him.
Well, let me tell you.
Cheesecakes. How did you learn about the cheesecakes?
I don't even fucking remember.
How
But
long ago did you learn about the cheesecakes?
Years.
So you-
Years.
okay.
They're needed.
So,
Wow.
like I said, this has been going on for a long time. But yeah, like it was. The whole thing was started by, like I said, I think it was like President Carter was like, we gotta prop up the dairy industry, and the government has basically just been doing it ever since. And the problem is they have to buy cheese, and then they have this cheese, so then they have to get rid of the cheese, so they subsidize the cheese, and they create these food assistance programs to get rid of it. Well, when the government gives away cheese, that's cheese that the food industry, the dairy industry, didn't sell.
So were the food assistance programs created specifically for that?
Well, I mean, it was if your government and your job is to, serve the people, and you have a fuck ton of food, and you know that there's a lot of hungry people in your country, then at some point you'd be like, hey, we're gonna take some of these. Can we fit 4 people on this?
No, I'm posting in my spot, Kai. We
you
want
know,
your take on the cheesecakes.
I'm nervous.
at some point,
Yeah.
the government's going to be like, okay, we have all of this extra food, we gotta help our people, so they just start, making programs to utilize this cheese.
Hello, Kyle.
Kyle's never been on the
I know,
podcast.
Really?
No.
I hear. I've never actually heard him on the podcast, but I hear a lot of our producer.
Yeah.
Kyle's in the yard.
Our producer's finally in front of the camera.
He wasn't prepared, clearly.
No,
What are your thoughts on this cheese cave?
I'm
Or
baffled.
cheese caves?
I'm baffled. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, I think it's a thing where it was a good idea, and then it just got so much momentum,
It spiraled.
and it just couldn't stop.
Yeah.
So what do you think the solution to the cheesecakes is?
Free cheese.
Free cheese?
For
Cheese.
everyone?
For everyone.
Like everyone gets a...
cheese it up.
Well,
First
when
off,
you think
meal?
about it, with the amount of cheese that they have in cold storage, there's enough cheese for every single American to have like 4 pounds of cheese. Every single American.
If all of a sudden we start eating a ton of cheese, isn't our obesity rate going to go up massively?
Like worse than it is.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
it's there.
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
But
but
that's
worse.
also because we've been, eating
cheese.
grain and cheese for 30 years.
You brought up a new one I didn't know about, the grain crisis or issue.
like
yeah.
the seed oils and everything.
No, like wheat. Like they were instrumental in the food. Like, why do you think grain is the largest portion of the food pyramid? Because they came in, they kicked in the door when they were making the food pyramid. They're like, you need to give us a bigger section, man. We gotta sell some fucking wheat.
We got too much grain.
That's another thing you get on Wick. Loaves of bread, man.
I think
Loaves of
that
bread, rice, beans.
the food pyramid is a scam. I think it's just literally set up as what they want us to eat the most because we have the most of it.
Well, remember, that's the U.S. food pyramid. So look
Should
at
we get
other
the-
other countries and what they're eating.
I've
Aren't
never
like
thought about that.
some of the ingredients in our breads and most foods illegal in other countries?
Yeah, but we're working on that.
You
to
can't
do
get
that.
red Gatorades anywhere else other
In
than
the
the
world.
U.S.
True.
Yeah.
Icky.
It's
And
like
it all stuff.
food dyes.
And they've-
it all causes
Everywhere.
cancer in California.
They've fully marketed that
Stumbled.
as like, your kids are at a soccer game, let's hydrate them with some
Mhm.
red Gatorade.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They're killing our
wild.
kids.
And Red 40's linked to like ADD problems and things like that, like over hyperactivities and things like. So it's a
Well,
lot of
that
nuts.
explains so much about me
You
Like
drink a
red-
lot of red Gatorade as a kid?
all the time.
Really?
How big
love-
is Gatorade? Like you've traveled a lot. You've lived.
I've
other
never seen a
places.
Gatorade in another country.
Have-
Ever.
Like, how prominent is it out west and up
Everywhere.
north?
It's
Is it?
everywhere. Yeah.
Okay, because it was developed here in Florida.
Right.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Yeah.
The Gators. That could be why I feel like I was so exposed to it. My dad's a huge Gators fan, and they grew up in Florida. My brother's a Gainesville Gator. So, like, that could have been why I had a lot of Gatorade as a kid. But, like, I feel like everybody did. I feel like it was pretty
Yeah.
popular. And all of the high school games we had, I was an athletic trainer, and I trained for football, lacrosse, baseball, sometimes hockey and basketball, and it was like part of my job was carrying out the Gatorade jug and like
in high school, like at our lacrosse games, we had a designated like player for every game that had to bring a snack, and the snack always had to be bagels from Brugger's. So like every single game during halftime, when we're all just sitting there eating bagels, and now I'm like
thinking, is the most New York thing I've ever fucking heard in my life.
Also, think about how much cream cheese.
Yes,
put on their
we're
bagels.
just like we don't even spread it. I mean, I guess some New Yorkers spread it. Do whatever the fuck you want with your cream cheese. But I rip my bagel apart and I dip it. It's like a dip for me.
What the fuck?
You're a monster.
Yeah.
And you're worried about the cheese problem?
Well, now I am. I didn't know there was a cheese problem.
Oh my God.
I was trying to debate like what I should bring. I was like, should I bring some cheese to this?
Slices of cheese.
He just shows up with like a wheel of cheese, like, here we go.
I'm not gonna lie, the minute we're done with this episode, I'm gonna go into the kitchen and make cheesy eggs and now put it on a bagel because now I'm thinking about bagels. And I'm gonna add cream cheese to it too.
No, you have to dip it in cream cheese.
Yeah.
How do you make eggs? She said you make the best eggs. I need to know how you
She
make
has
eggs.
said that multiple times.
I said I trained him to make
Yes,
that.
but you said he's better than you.
He's better than my mom at it now.
Oh.
Toby, I don't mean that. It was a joke.
Oh, those are fighting words. You can't say that.
Sometimes you are.
Should we have an egg cook-off?
Oh my god, next
Do
to
you
my
wanna
mom's
come?
in town.
Hell yes, please.
We'll sell tickets.
No, my mom, it goes to show, like, that's also with the milk and the cheese thing. So growing up, my mom, I know some people add milk to their eggs.
Mm-hmm.
My mom added cheese. Like, we don't do a non-cheesy egg.
Mm-hmm.
But we're very particular. And, I mean, you can ask Kyle, like, honestly, he was not getting it right for the longest time. And
Oh,
I
it
would
was
just be like, I'll just do it.
It was a problem in our relationship. It wasn't just an issue. It was a problem in our
It was
relationship.
shitty eggs.
Because you made bad eggs?
I didn't make eggs
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt's mom
Yeah.
makes eggs with milk.
Well, that's a
So
popular
it's like
thing.
dairy.
So, yeah. Well,
Okay,
I
so-
grew up, my mom always used
Milk.
milk to make our eggs. So I
So the cheese
grew up and I
situation.
evolved.
Yeah.
And what I use to make my eggs now, heavy whipping cream.
Oh, so that's good too.
And
I
that
mean,
makes them very
They're fluffier. They're
smooth,
fluffier.
fluffy, perfect.
But the thing with it is the way that my mom cooks them. She scrambles it all up
Mm-hmm.
with the cheese, so it's really
Yeah.
mixed in. I don't like any of the white parts of the eggs. That's the hard part. So
Okay.
like the cheese kind of like takes all of that out if you mix
Mm-hmm.
it properly. So it's like it's a weird mixing situation. He's good at it now. But like it took a long time. But it wasn't that I was mad that he couldn't make eggs. It's that he's a very big acts of service guy. So he wanted to make me breakfast all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like a bitch because I was like, I don't want you to make my breakfast.
I
You're
would
doing
come
it
in
wrong.
with this plate of eggs that I'm so proud of, and it would have like the yolk and the whites. Or
Get outta here.
separated.
She's like, there's so much white
She's
in
like,
that.
why is
Get
there
it.
egg white in this egg?
What is this? What even is this?
For a while, I tried to pass it off. It's like, oh, that's the cheese. It's a cheese clump, and she was like,
Wait, I have
Oh, what?
Now that we're on this discussion of dairy, when you guys had like holidays growing up, did you guys have deviled eggs?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
Yes.
No.
And
But we
then
did
I'm
very
from Florida. We do deviled
just-
eggs
yeah.
here.
My family,
Double-
my dad's Cuban,
Oh,
my mom's
that's right,
Jewish
that's right.
and Russian. Like we have very untraditional like food things. Like I don't feel like I've ever had a normal. Just up until 4 years ago, my mom, I finally was like, I want ham on Christmas. Stop giving me turkey on Christmas. Like I was mad about it. Yes. I like a ham.
We had ham and turkey for
I've
both
heard that from a lot of
Thanksgiving
people.
and Christmas.
So
I've heard that a
yeah,
lot.
Thanksgiving we do both.
Yeah.
Normally we actually have at this point we have 2 turkeys because our family's so big, and we have a ham.
You have
And
2
then-
turkeys?
Yeah,
Wow.
and sometimes we do like one like regular like in the oven, and then my uncle fries turkeys. So he'll fry like 4 turkeys, and we'll go grab one from him and bring it up to the house. So we'll have a fried turkey, and we'll have a regular.
Wait,
baked
See, I'm not a turkey gal.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this Thanksgiving, Kyle was gone. So I went to Jordan's house.
Mhm.
We didn't eat that much, but we got real fucked up.
We did.
We were real drunk.
We did. Wait, did you tell him about the turkey crisis?
The turkey crisis.
Yes.
Turkey crisis.
Didn't you say they were like with the same thing with cheese? There was turkeys.
Oh, I was just. I
Oh,
was
they
just
just
saying,
keep, they
it's-
keep
it's-
count of
yeah.
the turkey.
Oh,
Yeah, they
We're
just
not in a
they,
turkey
yeah no
crisis.
they just keep. So USDA has a cold storage report where like once a month or a couple times a month, They put out this report, because it's public record, of how much of different things the U.S. has in storage. And it's to the point now where it's vegetables, fruits, dairy, meat.
Yeah.
Meat, singular. Not.
Meats.
Not. Stop saying it.
Yeah, come on.
We're
Sorry,
on the
Courtney.
Courtney thing
Lost a
still.
listener. You're gonna have to put an advisory.
But yeah, like,
Trigger
like
warning.
it's just, I thought it was interesting. Like, turkey's like one of the biggest meat products that they have
I mean, that's
in storage.
An okay meat to eat, right? Because it's like one of the least
lean.
fat meats.
Oh,
like
What's
We've-
just crazy
We've
to me?
slowly transitioned from red meat to turkey a lot. Like when we make tacos and stuff, we use turkey meat because.
we're chicken people.
Mm-hmm.
I like chicken, but I love a good steak. But I am very, very. It goes back to like the egg thing. I'm a weird texture person, so like the egg whites to me, it's a texture thing. That's why I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Same with fat on steak. So like I'll end up cutting off half the steak because I don't like the fat.
Well, you got to get those really good steaks that has like the marbling in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't just have that fat on the edge. You just have.
It's really expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't stop thinking about like how many people are like starving, especially in our country, and we just have all this excess of food.
Pounds of cheese
We do.
per person.
We should be giving out the cheese.
I mean, think about how many empty houses there are when you have a bunch of homeless people.
That too. This is crazy.
Capitalism, man. Love
It works.
it. Love it. Hate it.
I'm gonna let
Whatever.
Jordan spiral on that for a couple more days, and then I'm sure you'll be getting a text from her with some follow-up questions
Oh, for
and
sure.
or like follow-up commentary.
Yeah.
She'll have a lot of opinions, and all of our phones now are going to have TikToks of the cheesecakes because they've all heard it at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So
Do we think there's TikToks on the cheesecakes?
if
bet
not,
there's
you
Oh,
should.
I'm
make
sure
one.
there's a bunch of conspiracy.
Check
Conspiracy
TikTok,
talk.
see if there is any. If there isn't, it sounds like you're making a video on
It's
the
niche.
cheesecakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it a thing.
But like, leave it a little open-ended so that you can tell them to come watch the YouTube instead.
Yes.
I think that they'll prefer it anyways.
Okay.
Long form always.
You said something about like how like the wheels of cheese.
Yeah.
So I can't remember if it was a TikTok or if it was some video. Some guy came home and it was his girlfriend or his wife, his significant other, was filming him like he just had this wheel of cheese, and she's like, "Why did you buy that? What? Why do you have that in this house?" And he's like, I walked into the store and I saw the price and I had to get it. It was like $11 for this wheel of cheese. And
That's cancer cheese.
and
for
and
sure. There's no way.
she's like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm sorry. I tried calling you. You didn't answer. I made an executive decision. I bought the cheese. They weigh it. It's like a 44-pound wheel of cheese." And then somebody in the comments was like, "Hey, I looked it up. That's what he paid was the price of like 1 pound of cheese." So somebody at the store
Fucked up.
basically scanned it or like and put a label on it and put it as basically 1 pound of cheese and priced it as a single pound, and this dude just bought it. 44
Amazing.
pounds of cheese for the price of 1 pound.
They're having
Amazing.
a cheese party.
What a deal.
Someone
That's what
got
she's like.
fired.
She's like,
have
what are we
nachos.
gonna do with all this cheese? He's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. You don't just not buy an $11
We just won the
wheel of
lottery.
cheese.
Yeah.
The cheese lottery.
Right.
Can't let that
We can
one
do
go.
whatever we want.
I think that we should have a cheese party.
But we have to get cheese first.
We have to find an $11 wheel of cheese.
Yes.
Start
Yeah, cheese
working.
Do they have like, you know how they have like the meat stores, like butchers? Do they have one for cheese? They've got to, right?
A cheese store?
Yeah, just
Yeah, they have like
like
cheese and wine shops all over the
like
place.
not cheese and wine. Like I want to like go into like a butcher style shop.
So
where
as
it's
there's
just
a butcher
cheese.
Or he's
meats,
just got
there's
legs.
a
He's just
what
got
for
like
cheese.
legs of cheese hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
Well, Fred,
I'll
I
give you a nice cheese
host
chop.
a lot of crafty events in our backyard. It's like
Craft
kind of like,
cheese.
I've been there. They're nice.
well, you've seen the backyard bit. So I do like host little events back there and we do like crafts and stuff. And the girls asked me yesterday if I would host a class on churning butter. And I'm kind of committed to it now.
We didn't ask you that.
Kelsey did.
Did she?
Kelsey's like, what if we did a churning butter class? And I
Why
went,
does
yes.
Kelsey want to turn that?
I just
So
feel
Why
like
does Kelsey want to do anything?
You're the one that won't let me get chickens, but you want to churn butter in the backyard?
I want to. If you have a churning butter class in your backyard, I'm showing up in a full Amish dress.
Pilgrims.
Please do. Please do.
And you have to walk here. They don't drive.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to
You live like 30 minutes away.
I know. I will walk here.
You can just,
you can
know,
take it.
Yeah, bring
yeah.
your horse and buggy.
There you go.
Could you imagine me showing up on
I
a horse?
can't talk about this on the podcast, sorry fam, but when we click that end button, I do have to tell you about the conversation I had with my dad last night.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank God.
I love that man. That man, they went to the movies last night. My mom proudly, they called us on their way to the movies. They went to Outback Steak. I knew my dad was a little like, I think he was buzzed because he sent me a picture of his pasta with no context at Outback Steak. And then followed up with a picture of a wart that he just got removed on his arm. And I was like, these two don't correlate at all. Then we get a call 5 minutes later. And the rant that my dad went on, hilarious, with my mom in the back just being like, I'm wearing sweatpants. We're going to the movie. And I'm like, are you with anybody? And they're like, no, we don't like people.
I get that.
It was like a 20-minute conversation, but the context of that conversation, you will die. My dad will tell me if I put it on the internet.
I wonder if Italian, you know the Italian restaurants where they make the pasta in the wheel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder if they buy their wheels from the government and their cheese storage.
Probably. I bet you
And
the
that's
government
why-
drops them off and they're like, please use
Yeah,
this.
that's why they're like, say when.
At Olive Garden.
Please don't say when.
Yeah.
You have so much in the
I mean,
back.
you've got Roca's that does that. You've got Timpano's that does that with the pesto in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
Like, there's tons of places now that do the cheese wheel. It used to be like, the first time I ever saw it was in New York. And I, like, didn't think it was a thing anywhere else. I thought it was so special. And then in the last year, we have, like, 2 or 3 new places. But at the same time, somehow a lot of New Yorkers still manage to just, like, stay skinny. And I think it's because they just walk everywhere.
I mean, if you live in downtown New York, you get any kind of big, you're not fitting on the sidewalks. There's too many people.
Yeah.
that's
You
true.
can't fit on the subway. You have to stay skinny.
You can't go up those stairwells. You can't get to your apartment.
New York City supports anorexia, clearly. Like, they're just like, nope, can't do that.
That's why they're everything in their grocery stores is so tiny.
Every time I go visit my other friend, Jordan,
Mhm.
she lives in New York City. And every time I go to visit her, I trip walking up to her apartment because the stairs are closer together. And I was like, why are they like this?
They're
Like,
steeper and shallower.
Right.
It's crazy. It's like a
hell do they
ladder.
get
so like the
furniture?
normal, like you're normal to a certain like length. And then when I do it, all of a sudden I'm like tripping all over the place.
Can hoist things.
It's,
Can.
it's so
Yeah,
you can
maybe.
get your steps in.
Yeah.
Work off that cheese.
Or they're just all skinnier. Like,
Work off your bagels that you have every
There
single
you
day.
go.
fair enough. I'm going to have a bagel now.
You should.
So we're going
And
to have
cheesy
it.
eggs.
And
What?
cheesy eggs.
With
Cheesy
cream
eggs.
cheese and cheesy eggs.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
like a whole sandwich.
Anybody
situation.
want one? I don't know how many bagels we
So
have.
when are we raiding the cheese cave?
Should we schedule that?
We should.
Put it in the calendar.
We should.
Let's do.
You remember when the internet like scheduled like everybody show up at Area 51 on like this date? Let's do it. Everybody
Let's
show
make
up
a
in
Facebook
Springfield.
group.
And then they
We're
just
gonna
they
raid
just
the
stood
cheesecake.
outside
I
and
feel
they were just
like-
like, let us in, and they were like, no, and they were like, okay, bye.
I
Yeah.
feel like the people of Missouri would be like, come on in.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like, welcome. So
Okay.
I don't think it would be a
May-
hostile environment, you know?
No.
May 6th, 2028.
May
2028.
6th, 2028. Okay.
I feel confident. I have time to prepare.
May 6th, 2028.
I wonder
Because
what
at
else.
that at that point you're gonna have your doomsday bunker like
Mhm.
half a mile away, so
true.
you're just gonna walk there.
We'll just
Maybe
walk
we
to the
could
cheesecake.
dig underground and then
A tunnel
reach
system.
There you go.
the cheese.
Into the cave system.
Yeah.
Yes.
I bet you that they've got like little sensor beepers that it just
Seismic
something.
sensors.
I don't know.
Keep from tunneling into
What
the
else can
caves.
you do with cheese?
Eat it.
Other than like that.
I
but, like,
wonder-
I'm gonna
I
become
wonder
the
if you
largest
could-
cheese dealer.
Okay,
in
What
wait,
else do you want to do with it?
Wait,
I don't know.
give me
Build a house.
some leeway here.
I don't think you can build a house out of cheese.
Give me
You
some
make sure
leeway.
it's in a cold environment.
That's
Yes.
true.
Someone listen to me because this is groundbreaking. Hear me out. We make goat milk lotions and soaps.
Right?
Why can't we make cheese lotions?
Cow milk lotions, soaps.
We can use the cheese for
Can you
body cleansing.
deconstruct cheese back into like a liquid form?
You
Is that
have
a
to
thing?
be able to. You said that weird thing with the plasticky looking cheese.
Well, yeah, they like turned it into a powdered cheese.
Wolf.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we could start making goat milk lotion, but cow milk, and sell it at a very high dollar price. Because it's the cheesecake. We have to get some cheesecake cheese first.
We get all the cheese and hand it out to all the homeless people like we're Oprah. Everyone gets a cheese wheel.
Jordan just wants to be famous.
Cheese.
So she can just give cheese away.
Yeah, she wants to make national headlines for handing out cheese.
Put me on
Queen.
TMZ. Girl hands out cheese. Don't know where she got it.
But do you want to be known as the cheese queen? Because that's
Yes.
Just become president, and then you
That's
can
a
just
thing in Wisconsin.
everybody gets cheese.
That's the thing in Wisconsin. They have the cheese
my
queen.
first 100 days. Yes. My plan is to administer 1 wheel of cheese per household.
There you go.
Oh God. Well.
We gotta hang this up. I gotta go eat some cheese. I'm hungry.
Okay. Well, thanks
Thanks
for
so much
coming on.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for
of course.
educating me on
Thanks
this
for having me.
cheesecake.
It's a good time.
Thanks for
He's
coming
just
on, Kyle.
excited he finally got to be on the podcast.
I'm here. I made it.
Yay!